questions still loom over how much support Google in entirety is giving to Stadia. Well, we've come across yet another video that shows a tremendous amount. See, more PROOF Stadia and YouTube collaboration will play major role for Google. It's SDO Daily, baby. Let's get into it.
I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They say I was pushing my luck. I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry.
What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of the SDO Daily on behalf of the Stadia Dosage platform. Do us a huge favor before we get into this one. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please. So you know when we're dropping these doses. We appreciate all of y'all straight up, each and every one of you. You know the reason, and you know the slogan. We are not too proud to ask. On that vein, if you're watching this as we've introduced this, as we rolled this out as a YouTube live premiere, and you want to get braggadocious in the chat, you want to leave us a question to answer at a later time, or you simply want to just help this platform out, feel free to hit that super chat button. It goes a long way to make this channel a better channel for you. All right. With that said, let's talk about it, folks. Let's go back in Hot Tub Time Machine, back to, a few months before launch. People doubted Google's commitment to Stadia. They said, Google Graveyard got more noteworthy attention than it deserved. And people focused on that even up until launch and since past launch to say Google's not going to put resources into this. It's going to go the way of the dodo bird, like Google Plus. Yeah, we see Google out here saying that its Stadia is not going anywhere, but if you look at comments that were made in 2014 by some other exec, they said something similar to that about Google Plus. So Google Stadia is doomed. You see a bunch of fallacies out there, right? And there were rumors late last year, or mid last year rather, that Alphabet was disappointed with Stadia, wanted to shut it down. And that's what led to the SG&E closure. I heard that. I had people chiming to me behind the scenes trying to feed me that manure. I'm sorry. Another way to put it. But routine evidence shows that they've recognized the more immediate potential of the platform, and instead are making a huge pivot from the internal software side of things to working directly with the already proven game makers to enhance the Stadia experience long term. I want to give a special shout out to Akash Monger and the homie Dustin Aran, we call him the postmaster around here, for finding the source content that inspired this video. So in order to get into the nooks and crannies of what this video represents, I gotta go back again, Hot Tub Time Machine, to around March 2019. Okay, so to start this all off, we have to refer to an article that we rediscovered, shout out to Project Storm, that puts Stadia's purpose in full perspective. So you know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, it's not the BTS meal that I want to show you. It's this Eurogamer article. Now again, it's from March 21st, 2019. And it's a huge interview that Phil Harrison and Maj Bakar did with Google Stadia, of Google Stadia. And they did with Richard Ledbetter of Eurogamer and of Digital Foundry. They talked all things Stadia. It's a well in-depth article. Back then when this released, it didn't make much sense then. It was all a bunch of gibberish, but it makes a whole bunch of sense now, being what we've seen Stadia do. I just want to take a couple of key quotes from this article because it is huge. All right. First quote, in regards to what Stadia's long-term goal is. Our platform engages deeply with YouTube technology. It continues. There are really two discrete universes that coexist. There are people who play games and there are people who watch games. There are 200 million people watching games on YouTube every day. Now, this was at 2019. The numbers have grown significantly since then, but it continues and says, in 2018, there were 50 billion hours of watch time of game content. It continues as well. Our vision for our platform is to converge those two worlds together so that you can be watching a game, click and be playing a game, and vice versa. So again, it's them laying down the carpet and saying, hey, look, this is not us trying to be a console in the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going for something different here, a different business market, a different opportunity here. Just let us do our thing, and then once we're ready to go full steam ahead, then, behold, all right? But they continue furthermore to say this. It even goes down to what you call the platform. It's not a game system. It's not a console. Actually, the point of our platform is that we're not a console. It's a place to gather. They continue. It's a place where you can have different types of game experiences, whether you are watching, playing, participating, whether you're being entertained, or whether you are the one doing the entertaining, right? That interview is key and it is integral because it shows that this, again, just isn't a console in the sky. This is something that is seriously going to integrate the role of a content creator and the role of a content consumer into one seamless activity. All right. I had to reintroduce myself to this article, so now I realize that the long-term goal of Stadia is beyond a game console in the sky or a cloud platform. I think, and this is something that I came up with, and if you guys want to adopt it, that's fine. I think a better way to describe Stadia because of its long-term goal is more like a GCP, which stands for Game Content Platform. The ultimate goal is for content viewing, content creation to be seamless, so it's more like a game content platform, okay? Now, to go along and help you better understand how Google and other people that fit into this realm, like Amazon, they got the same opportunity too, and I believe that Amazon is going to be pursuing things in this realm as well, why they feel that the conversion of those two worlds will be very lucrative. Well, in 2020, 100 billion people watch gaming content, or there were 100 billion hours, of gaming content watched in 2020. And 10 billion of those hours were live streams, okay? So if you can combine the activity with participation in your standalone game platform, it's lucrative as hell. If I can get all those people that either participated in the overall 100 or 90 billion hours of VOD and they're watching game content, they're like, oh, I would like to play NBA 2K 21 or 22 or whatever it is. Let me click on this link and play it too. Or for the people that participated in the 10 billion hours that watched live streams, they can now say, look, I can get on the field with my favorite content creator. You can't do that anywhere else. Unless you have a platform, a content creation platform, which allows you to leverage the two. And that's where, again, Google and Amazon are in a unique place. And because they're in that unique place, you then have an opportunity to create a space that allows you to have a level of profit, revenue, of marketability that other platforms don't have. So that's why I, in particular, see what Stadia is saying is their long-term goal. And I say, well, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, it's well beyond just a cloud platform. Because other platforms are just simply allowing you to have hardware offerings in the sky. This is bigger than that, all right? And to prove that it's bigger than that, Stadia has enacted some of its best engineers, or Google rather, has enacted some of its best engineers to work on Stadia. Currently, even when SG&E closed, the day that it closed, they simultaneously posted a YouTube/Stadia job out there. And there's so much more evidence. And what am I talking about? Let me show you something else. This right here is the video. Now, I'm not going to play it, but this is just a snippet from the video where what I'm talking about. It's adapting WebRTC for game streaming. I'll put a link to it below. And they break down so many different things to you, right? Like, first and foremost, they talk about Stadia as being a near perfect network. And how did it become a near perfect network? Well, this video is from YouTube engineers. YouTube engineers that have heavily been working on Stadia and making enhancements towards that seamless goal, that place that blurs the lines between game content creation and consumption. Okay? You can see there, near perfect network, and they explain how they've come to that catalog. They also talk in this video, these YouTube engineers, the codec solutions, how they may play a bottleneck right now, but how they tend to alleviate that bottleneck as far as output, as far as performance and fidelity in the future with the AV1 codec and so forth. They talk about how they've mastered issues with HDR, color space issues, along with talking about live streaming to YouTube. So again, the connection between Stadia and YouTube is integral here. It's serious stuff. And again, we got a link to this video. It's not the flashiest video, but if you're an information head like myself, if you like to pivot off of facts, it's one that you'll definitely want to consume. All right. As a matter of fact, it probably would help if I showed you the video, huh? I didn't show you the video. Well, not the video, but a snippet from the video. There it goes. YouTube Live versus Stadia. There goes all that stuff right there. And again, in the bottom right-hand corner, they talk about the near perfect network. Definitely check out that video, all right? So here's the thing. How does this all play together? Well, again, if I'm looking at all this information and I'm trying to, in a fathomable fashion, connect the dots of chain of events and what they most likely mean, after rereading that article, because we read it before, we read it when it was released, I remember seeing it, but I didn't understand what it meant until now. Sometimes you got to go back to the archives and reread things to get a better understanding and re-jog your memory so you don't go too far into the reservation, off the reservation rather. So if I'm looking at this, this is my thought process. Again, my conjecture, I'll be honest, but just how I'm looking at this whole situation right here. When SG&E was realized to be approached too prematurely, and you can kind of get a sense of the instability as far as making that a major, or looking at that as a major move in what Stadia has to offer, even in that 2019 interview. Like, they talked about it, but they really didn't focus on it. You know what I'm saying? So you could tell even back then that the SG&E move was not an integral part of what Stadia was looking to do moving forward. I think they realized that it was out of their main scope, and it was becoming more of a bottleneck of them realizing what the main scope was, which is working again with the best developers in the world and getting their games over to the platform. So as those games were being played on the streaming portion, people can hop in from anywhere on the gaming portion, right? So they had plans to speed up that process. They then decided that instead of trying to illustrate how they can use these features, and when I say they, I mean the devs, and the YouTube integration, they decided, you know what? We're not just gonna lay examples out there. We're going to help the developers hands-on. We're gonna get in the trenches and do it. And that's also evidenced in the Catherine Hassai interview with Input Magazine. Look that up. Catherine Hassai, H-S-A-I-O, Input Magazine. Read that. That article was released the same day also that SG&E was closed. So yet SG&E closed down the first party stint. You had this interview release, and you had a YouTube/Stadia job posting release as well. What more do you need, right? In the same time, chronologically after that, I feel that they then wanted developers to get more used to the platform sooner, more engineers working hands-on, hence why you saw what you saw in the GameIndustry.biz article where they talked exactly about that. They also want to attract a more immediate revenue stream with big ticket games day and date. They talked about that when they closed down SG&E, how the big boost that they saw with Cyberpunk 2077 led to that decision. There were rumblings that the Cyberpunk 2077 fell short of expectations, so it was going to lead to the reverse. But again, if you follow the evidence, you knew otherwise, that that Cyberpunk 2077 outperformed anything else that they've tried or that they released or that they had ported or whatever prior, right? So they want to continue that success in these early stages. This is only a 2% business, so they're not expecting to get millions upon millions of sales like an Xbox or PlayStation. It's only a 2% business. So when you see hundreds of thousands of copies potentially being sold or hundreds of thousands of engagements, that's huge for a small platform like this, all right? Also with that, Alphabet must be seeing all this data. We got to remember this. They're seeing all this stuff, they're seeing data, and they see the benefit of this newfound approach, and they've reportedly greenlit more resources to Stadia. I've seen things that make my eyes pop out of my head to where I'm like, okay, well, that's the case. So again, to combat the rhetoric of they're looking to go the way of the dodo bird, no, I've seen evidence to the contrary. I'll put it like that. And this is all in the early phases to help usher in the real milestone, as I said earlier in this video, seamless connection between content creator and content consumer via a new revenue stream, a revenue stream that again is exclusive at this moment to Stadia and Amazon. Not even Xbox right now. Xbox had to get rid of Mixer, so they don't have that seamless connection that they once had. Yes, are they teaming up with Facebook Gaming? But does that seem like that's really panning itself out? Not really. Google and Amazon already have proven game content creation platforms. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. It looks like what Microsoft is doing is their approach to the 1.2 billion gamers is via PC and consoles and mobile, where they can get in there via Game Pass. So it's a different traversal that they're going through here. It'll be interesting nonetheless to see how much more YouTube integration is involved and how it unfolds. This is all interesting stuff. And with that said, that's it from your boy. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, because like I always say, here's what I think. But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. They will lead you to the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and yes, the Stadia Dosage. With all that said, appreciate, love all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for the support. You all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.